ladies and gentlemen, I'm Matthew and this is StopDropGame. So this is episode 3 of the Let's Play for Turmoil, which is a game from developer and publisher Gamius. It's available on Steam again for $9.99. It's been out for a couple of months. So when we left off the last game, the last episode, we just finished completely mining out the forest area, and as the mayor says right here, we are about to set up and start mining in the desert area. So we're gonna go check that out. Okay, so obviously we need to go through and start the auction here, so it goes through and divides all this up. Now we can actually pick anywhere on the board really. We don't know where the sort of valuable plots are, so I'm just going to pick up here. Hang on a sec. I'm just going to like pick up in this area. So that's where I think there could possibly be oil. Now again, these guys are letting me know of some of the upgrades that they're offering. So being able to drill through rocks is going to be very important, not only in the desert area, but the areas following after that as well. Also, diamonds are going to come into play a little bit, but being able to drill through rocks is actually going to be a lot more important than anything else. So I think I might have a look at that and see exactly what I'm going to do in regards to that. So bear with me. Okay, sorry, I just had one or two things pop up in the background, guys. So okay, so nothing else that we can do with the mare. Now I've got at the end of the last round, I had made a fairly decent profit, which has put me up to a total of having 30,000 left. Now we'll have a bit of a quick look. At the moment, the drill is going to set us back 30,000, so I can't quite afford that comfortably yet. But look, we've got Carl here who's offering, you know, a minimum of 86 cents per sale for next year for $4,000. So I'm actually going to purchase that because it is going to give me fairly decent value for money. It's going to let me sell a lot of oil, and basically keep selling as the month goes on. So now what I'm also going to be looking at doing now is actually upgrading the size of my wagons so they can actually transport more each load that they do transport, because it's getting to the stage that even though I do have 25 wagons, I'm actually going to start running out of capacity to hold oil, which is going to cause spillage, which is going to end up costing me more money. So that upgrade is going to let them carry more oil. It's going to make my life a little bit easier. So we'll go through and we'll start now. So again, we've got that minimum cost set up for I think it was Right Ink. Now I can upgrade my wagon size for all of my wagons for $750. So I'll be doing that at some stage, not to begin with, but definitely be doing that at some stage. So I'm going to drop down 3 dowsers again, drop down a few moles at the bottom here, just so that we can get those going. So, and we've had 2 that have hit oil already, so that's a pretty solid effort. Now this one over here looks like it is a pretty decent one, so I'm actually going to try and set that up early. Now this grey stuff here is actually the rocks, so hopefully, yeah, I managed to avoid that there, so that's awesome. Because that would have caused me a little bit of a headache if I had hit that. So now it was left ink that's got the 86 as the minimum. So I'm going to really power into selling oil over to those guys, just so I can get that built up as quickly as possible. You know, really start to focus on making solid income, because the first month or two does slip away fairly quickly. So it's important to get a solid start in the game, in each round, and try and establish a decent sort of income as soon as possible. So that's all built and sort of started and ready to go. So I'm gonna actually set up a second oil rig over here and dig down this way. Now I'm gonna throw down a few more moles just to see what I can get down. And oh wow, we've hit the mother lode here, guys. So I really want to I'm actually gonna try and set up a couple different rigs going into this one, purely because there is so much oil there that I need to mine into. It's gonna possibly take me the entire season to do that. Now the moles have actually found one down over here as well. Now this oil patch looks like it's fairly decent in size as well, so hopefully we can make a decent profit. Now with two second levels hooked up to that, it is going to power through it pretty quickly. I'm just going to go through and upgrade that. Okay, let's have a look here. So that's just going through. They've upgraded, so they're going to go through and do their thing. Now, I need to be careful of rocks in this round, purely because I don't actually have the ability to dig through them there. No, let's change it over to 96 quickly, and change it back. Okay, now I'm going to send out a lot more moles, really sort of focus on getting those squared away. I'm gonna drop a couple more dowsers just to test the waters in regards to that. But anything that I do find will probably be out of their depth. Now we've got another massive, or another fairly decent sized setup over here. So okay, that looks like that's all part of the same one. So let's upgrade these and try and get these bored out as quickly as possible. So it does look like that's a fairly decent one. Now in here we've actually got the we've actually got a diamond, which is something that my moles can pick up once I do have the upgrade for it. I don't have that upgrade at the moment, so that's actually not going to do me any benefit. So it doesn't look like the moles did find any new patches of oil, but there's still quite a bit of land that is uncovered down there, and I am making a fairly tidy profit. So I'm gonna keep sending some of the guys down there. Now this has got a decent chunk of oil in it as well, so I'm just gonna dig down to there, dig that out, and see how much I can get in regards to that. Actually, I'm going to set up a second rig for this as well, just because I know that I've still got a couple of months left, and I want to try and get as much oil out of the ground for that as possible. And hopefully with the oil that I'm getting out, we're really going to be able to turn a tidy profit and get some of those solid upgrades that we need, like being able to drill through the rock at the end of the next round. That's going to be vast improvement over what I'm going to be doing, trying to dig around the rocks. There are some situations where it is okay to do that, but a lot of the time it's just easier and quicker to actually dig through the rock itself instead of having to dig around everything. Now, I reckon that there's only sort of 3 large ones in there. I haven't really found anything else, so hopefully that's all of them. And yep. So there's 4 large ones there. So I got a couple of bonus, and look at that, we made a profit of 46 grand. So pretty stoked about that. That's probably going to be a lot more than any of the other competitors managed to get out. And as you can see, we managed to average sort of 96 cents per barrel. So that's a massive profit that I've made there. So pretty stoked about that. So yeah, we've absolutely blown away the competitors there. So I'm pretty stoked. So let's go and have a look at the land auction map and actually see what the areas were like. Okay, so we've got 43, 43, 41 with that diamond there, and 21. So the blue player, you know, sort of in a bit of a rough spot there. But yeah, it looks like we've all hit fairly well-based land. So I'm actually going to aim somewhere in here. Maybe try and stay away from that 29s. Probably down here, somewhere in between those 43s. Just to see what we can do as far as that cash. We'll see how it goes as far as the oil, and basically take it from there. Now we'll check this out and see if we can get any. 88 cents for 7,500. Yeah, look, I've got the money there. I'm willing to do it. So we're going to buy this drill upgrade. That's definitely the next thing that we're doing. So let's have a look here at what else we've got. Now I'm going to upgrade the depth that the dowsers can go down to at this stage, just because they sort of get into a stage where they're less useful now. So I'm gonna, or do I want to do the moles? Actually, you know what? I'm spending more money on the moles. I'm going to gonna upgrade them so they can actually upgrade. They can actually uncover 9 cells instead of 6. So that's gonna really be beneficial for me. You know, I mean, in going through and putting down the 4 that I do at the start, that's an additional 3 cells each. So that's 12 cells. So you know, it's like I've actually paid for 5 or 5.5 moles instead of 4, and they're all gonna uncover a bunch. So we've already got 1 that's uncovered down here. So I'm hoping to find, you know, perhaps 1 or 2 that are a little bit closer to the surface. There's probably some oil down in here somewhere, or perhaps over here. I don't know. We'll have to have a look and find out. We're not seeing a lot going on at the moment. So look, we're going to try and dig down to here with our first rig, and see if we can make some headway. So this is just letting us know that we can dig through those rocks now, which you need to upgrade each of the rigs to do it, or you need the rigs to be all connected to the same network. So now it looks like 2 of my dowsers have actually walked off the screen, so everything else that I find is going to be below what their limit is. So that's okay. It just lets me know that there's going to be oil hopefully further down that we'll have to try and go after and take care of. But for now, we're going to try and get as much oil pumping through this as possible and sell that as quick as we can. So we'll change over to the right here. So again, because I'm sort of around the 88 to 90, I'm not going to worry about buying any solos for this round. Silos. Not going to buy any silos for this round, purely because, you know, I can sell it at a decent enough profit that it doesn't really warrant me buying those silos. So I'm gonna throw down a bunch more guys. So the mole has found what I'm looking for down there. So let's go through, and okay, we've got a couple down here. Now it does look like there's a bit of rock floating around there, so I'm probably gonna have to upgrade this rig that I do put down here. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of an issue for me, and I'm going to have a decent amount of money to do it. My income is running a little bit slow at the moment. Hopefully I can avoid the rocks here, sort of dig through to that and Ah, there we go. Just managed to avoid it there. So that's good. So I'm gonna upgrade that so that we can really start to pump out some of that oil. Okay, switch back to the bright ink. This way, you know, we can really focus on getting some of that oil out and ready to go. Now I'm gonna drop a bunch more moles down here. You know, really try and open up some of this land area. Ah, there we go. So we've got one down there, one there. Okay, so there's a whole bunch in the middle here. Now, the dowsers that I've got there are probably only searching down about this area, which is possibly why they didn't find, you know, this huge oil resources here. Now, I'm going to dig a couple down to here because that does look quite big. You know, we've got a few going on at the moment, so we. And that there, we've just hit some rocks, so look, we're going to need to dig through that in order to be able to pull that out. But that's right. I mean, we've got the money to do it. You know, we've got it all squared away. I'm going to get a whole bunch more of my horses, and I'm actually going to upgrade the wagons now, so you can see that they've actually increased in size. So that's going to give me the carrying capacity that I need to prevent them from spilling over. That's the last thing that I really want to have happen with the oil that I've got going on. So this oil patch here was actually larger than I thought it was going to be. Now I'm going to upgrade this one as well. Now what you can actually do is connect two pipes or two oil rigs together. And now that this upgrades, it actually upgrades this rig as well. So now, even though I've only paid for one, and it cost me a little bit to connect them, all of these can dig through. So if there's oil like over here, I can actually dig straight through with that, even though I didn't buy the upgrade for it. So it's just a handy little tip for you guys. If you do need it, you know, lets you save a little bit of cash, or you know, turn a little bit of a better profit, depending on what's going on. And sometimes it can make all the difference. So we're gonna upgrade these as much as we can. Really try and focus on pumping out all this oil, because we are powering through the season fairly quickly, and it did take me a little bit longer than normal to find some of this oil. I'm gonna spend a bunch on the moles again, just to try and clear out some of this land and some of these cells that got sort of fairly large patches in them. You know, normally this makes sure that I don't miss any of the really big ones like this type of oil works. I'm selling at 30 cents, idiot. Okay, so that's gone through and filled up. So we're going to dig this through to here, just so that we can get more pumping out of there, because we are in November and I really want to try and get as much oil out of this as possible. Okay, so that's emptied out. Okay, so this is pumping out now. We're down to the last month, so I really want to try and get these to pump out and sell as high as we can. So they're all over there. Come on. Okay, so that seems to be all the oil sold. So I'm going to stop at that stage, and I missed one. So look, it does happen, but as you can see, I got most of the large ones. I still made a fairly decent profit off of what I spent there. So this will allow me to get another upgrade in this round, hopefully, depending on what's available. So let's go through, have a look at the auction. So yeah, now there's around there was fairly solid. I did get like 43 down here. They found some diamonds over here, but I don't think anybody's actually got the upgrades to collect the diamonds yet, so I'm not too fussed about that. But let's go and have a look. So I'm probably going to pick out, say, here or here, depending on what goes on. I'm going to try here, just see if anyone challenges me to that. If they do, I'll probably move. Yeah, but I picked it up nice and cheap, so that's not an issue. So let's check out if anyone's offering. Yeah, look, I'm not willing to spend that much on 70 cents per barrel, but that's okay. Let's have a look at what our upgrades are. So, okay, we can upgrade those dowsers so that they can dig down deeper now. So that is going to give us a bit of an advantage. Looking at the other upgrades that are available at the moment, I'm gonna go with that, and you know what? We're actually gonna buy the second one as well. So this will actually allow the dowsers to search down as low as they possibly can. And the great thing about this is, if I use a dowser, we'll see the information here is your dowser will now be able to look for deeper oil wells. Your dowser will now be able to look for oil wells at any depth. So they will find oil if it's in the ground at any depth, regardless of how deep I'm looking. So the great thing about this is, if I'm not sure if there's any oil that I haven't found, I can drop a dowser or two down. They'll have a bit of a look around, and they'll either let me know that what's going there, or if they don't find anything, they'll walk off screen, and I'll know that I've found all the oil, and I can just focus on powering through and mining all of that. So it's a real, while the dowsers can be limited in how they help in the early and, well, more the mid game, or more that sort of in between, you know, the level 2 dowsers I really don't find to be good value for money, because I've got the moles that just dig deeper anyway. But level 3 dowsers are actually really worth the expense, just to let you know whether or not there's any oil that you haven't found yet. So it looks like I've found a fairly big lot of oil here, so that's going to be my first focus. Now, I don't think I got the minimum cost. I think it was down around 70 cents. So I'm gonna sell a little bit of money, a little bit of oil at a low value, just so that I can dump a silo down here. So I can make sure that I mine that out, and then only sell it at a high price. That way we can sort of really get a focus on making a decent profit, and not be selling for, you know, cents on the barrel. Okay. Ideally, what you want to have is right ink going down as left ink's going up, or vice versa. So I'm going to upgrade that as well. We'll upgrade that and buy another wagon, so we can try and process as much of this oil as possible, and really focus on getting an early profit. So that I can then set up a couple of extra rigs. Okay, right ink has overtaken left, so let's move all you guys over that way. Now I'm actually going to double up the size of that, so that the upgrade for that is actually worth more value to you the more wagons you get out. So I tend to like to have a decent number of wagons, and I've got sort of 17 or 18 out at the moment. But the more wagons that you can get out, the more capacity that it has, which is definitely going to be an advantage. So let's drop this third rig down here. Now, I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of oil in that right hand one, but we'll give it a go, see how it all pans out. Now, right ink is dropping. Now it's down at 80 cents. I'm gonna drop that down. Okay, so we've managed to. Oh, it's not too bad there. We found another one underneath that, and it looks like this one here is huge. So I may even set up a second rig just to dig down to that, purely because there is quite a bit of oil to be had in there. Now I'm actually going to buy a second silo purely because my first one's filled up quite a bit, and I'm not willing to sell for 67 cents if I can avoid it. I'd much rather sell for a higher cost. So but my guys are starting to fill up, so I might have to sell a little bit of oil just so that I can make one or two upgrades. So that's right. So once it's up past 80 cents, we'll there we go. Right ink has decided to skyrocket, so that's awesome. That's going to give us more to work with. Now, I'm going to go through and upgrade some of these rigs. Give me more oil carrying capacity by the rest of my wagons, so that way we can really focus on pumping out a huge amount of that oil now. So now I've discovered quite a few of the oil lots here, like the oil reserves. So we're gonna go through now. Looks like there's been another one found over here somewhere, so I'm gonna dump a few moles down just to see if I can find where it is and what level it might be at. You know, it could be right down the bottom. Here we are. So it's actually right down in here. So I'm going to extend that out to there. I'll switch over to the left because the right anchor's dropped down again. And it's one of those things that you're always trying to balance and work out. You know, what the best things to do in a bunch of different situations, and sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to keep on top of everything just because there's so much going on, as far as what you're digging for and where you're trying to get oil out of. But I've managed to get a decent lot. Okay, so I've still got this dowser walking around over here, so you know, whether or not he finds anything, we'll soon find out. It doesn't look like he's found anything over here though. I'm gonna drop one more dowser just on this side, just because I don't think he's gone over that way to have a look. But okay, so that dowser's headed off to the right hand side. This dowser is on the left, so he looks like he might be heading off to the left hand side and out the way. So left and right ink have sort of traded places as far as their value, so pumping it back over to those guys. So we're down to last month. I'm trying to get as much oil out of the ground as possible. Okay, so I managed to get all the oil out of the ground, so that's awesome. There's a couple of really huge oil reserves there. You know, it's turned me a fairly decent profit, so I can be pretty pleased with that. So I managed to get all the oil out of the ground. I didn't quite get to sell it all, but I'm pretty happy with that. That'll allow me to do one or two decent upgrades at the start of the next round. So, and as you can see, I've well and truly in front of the other players as far as the profit that I'm making and being able to get upgrades. So I managed to get 46 out of that. So I'm fairly happy with that. I'm gonna move over into here for the next round. So okay, it looks like I'm gonna have a little bit of competition there, but that's all right. I'll buy into here. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a solid investment. I'm going to make that $4 grand back anyway, so I'm not too concerned about that. So Kyle is offering me a minimum of 98, so I'm definitely going to jump at that. So let's have a look here now. What can we do? So we can look at doing the upgrade for the moles for the diamonds. What I think I'm actually going to do is upgrade both the width and the size of my silos, just so that I've got those under the belt ready to go, and that way we've got it all squared away. You know, it's money well spent. You can see that we're really starting to make progress with the upgrades that we're making. You know, all these guys haven't really focused on upgrades in this round or in this game. Which is a little bit unusual. You know, I dare say in the expert version they do go through and purchase more upgrades. It's a little bit more competitive. I haven't played the expert yet, but I dare say they do sort of buy a bit more in regards to that. So that's not going to be too much of an issue for us, though. I mean, we've got a fairly solid setup in regards to that. So I'm gonna go through. I'm gonna do one more round, and then I'll probably call it the end for this episode. So it'll be the end of episode 3, and when we come back, we'll look at episode 4 and hopefully get, you know, have a decent profit and be able to get a few more upgrades under our belt. So let's go through and kick this off, though. Okay, so let's have a look here. So 1, 2, 3 dowsers. So 1, 2, 3, 4 moles. So it tends to be. You'll notice that tends to be the layout that I prefer to use. It just is what works for me. It's what I find manages to uncover most of the oil you know, early on, or at least a decent amount of the oil early on. So as you can see, we've got 3 guys all centralized around this area. If I had the scanner, I'd go through and scan that area, but I don't at the moment. But that's right. I mean, I'll, you know, dig down here. Hopefully I don't run into any rocks. So I didn't. Now there's that diamond there. I should really buy that diamond upgrade. That could end up being worth a decent amount to me. But it's just, there's been other things that I've wanted to purchase first, so I'll get around to it though. Now we've got these guys over here waving their arms about, so I'm going to dig over this way. I'm going to chuck a mole down there as well to see if he uncovers anything in that local area, just because both guys are waving there. So hopefully we can find some stuff down here. Okay, so we've got one down in here. So now it doesn't look like a huge wagon, a huge amount of oil, but that's okay. That shouldn't cause us too much issue. I mean, we've got a decent steady price that we can work with, so we'll go through, we'll bang at a few more moles and see what we can find. Okay, and we've got one down here. Okay, we've got one that looks fairly decent over here, so I'm actually going to set up a new rig over here. We'll dig down to that and buy some more wagons. So once I've dug down to that, I'm going to... okay, we found one over here as well. Awesome, so I'm going to set up a 3rd rig over here, dig down to there, and then when I get the chance, I'm going to upgrade the wagons, so that way they've got a higher carrying capacity. And now I'm going to go through and upgrade these pipes, just so that I can get more coming in. So that's exhausted. Now I've managed to here we go. So it's just a reminder that I can upgrade my pipes twice now. So that's going to be a huge advantage for me trying to get these out, because it is July. I have found these oil reserves fairly late. Now I'm going to chuck down a couple more dowsers just to see if they do find anything else. So we'll power through this. Okay, now Right Ink is selling for over $1. Okay, so he's found one down here. Where's the other guy? There he is. So this one looks to be a fairly decent size, so we'll upgrade both of those. This one's filling up. So there's that oil down there. Now this is what I was talking about earlier in the game as far as spillage, that you really need to be careful of. Particularly when you do upgrade to level 3, and you've got a bunch of other oil going on at the same time, you really want to be careful. I should really consider upgrading my herd size if I can afford to next round. So now I'm going to get the guys all to come over here. We lost a little bit of spillage, so that's okay. They're selling to the left hand side now, so they're going to be focused around this area primarily, which will drain that quite a bit. So that's it's going to sell it at a really good price for me though. Now I'm actually going to oh, that one's hey, there we go, that one's actually empty out, so that's right, he can dig down to there. Now I'm going to chuck down 2 more dowsers just to check. I'll chuck down a couple more moles, but I'm pretty sure that's sort of the end of me buying dowsers and moles. I don't think there's going to be any more in the ground. Oh, hang on, there's actually one down here. Well, there you go. So, and this is why I use the moles. I mean, he shows me that there's one floating around somewhere, but I could have been looking all over the place trying to dig it out and spent heaps of money for that mole. I mean, it cost me a couple $100 for all the moles that I got all up, but it's definitely made my life a lot easier. So now I've got this last dowser over here. He's sort of wandering back and forth. I don't think he's really going to find anything, but that's fine. I mean, we're at the end of the month anyway. It looks like I've sold out of everything, so I'm going to stop that level, and yep, managed to get everything. So there was a diamond in there as well. I didn't find it, and I didn't have the upgrade for it anyway, so it's not too much of an issue for me. So that spillage, even though it was very minor, still cost me 2,500. Most of it was offset by the bonuses that I got, so it's not too bad. Still made a profit around 30,000, so I'm pretty pleased with that. Still doing much better than the others. They're not spending anywhere near as much money on their upgrades and that kind of stuff, and I'm pretty pleased about that, because it's putting me in a fairly good position. So I'm going to end the episode here, guys. We'll come back at, in the next episode. I'll go through, or continue with episode 4. Look at all the look at all the different upgrades that are available. See, you know, if there's anything that I want to upgrade to, and we'll basically take it from there. So if you haven't seen either of the previous videos, there'll be links in the description for those. The first video just has a bit of a setup on the playthrough and how it all works. And I'll probably end up putting a playlist together for all of these videos once I have gone through and set them all up. But until next time, I've been Matthew for StopDropGame. Peace out, guys.